Hi so buddies, welcome again to my channel. Today's tutorial is going to be a very quick one and a very beginner friendly tutorial. You can already tell that we are going to learn how to make this flared dress or umbrella dress as others love to call it, and it's going to have a frill at the hem. So to our new subscribers, thank you for joining this wonderful sewing community. My name is Joy and I am the tutor and the convener for this channel, Way by Angry. So you're very welcome. To all my OGs and my old subscribers and viewers, thank you so much for being here. I do not take your love and support for granted. To make this dress, I used 2.5 yards of cotton fabric and 1 yard of silk fabric. I use this pink bias tape for the neckline and the sleeveless strap. Of course, you need your scissors, your measuring tape and your chalk for this sewing project. Here are a list of the measurements I'll be using to sew this dress. Now, the first thing you want to do is to start by laying out your fabric with the right side facing upwards, and then you want to fold it at the corner like this. Now from this point, I came down 10 inches and then I marked that 10-inch round. So this 10 inches, I came down 10 inches so that it will give me enough width for my shoulder. Then from this new line, I marked 30.5 inches, which is going to be the length I need for the Ankara fabric. Now remember that from my measurement, my full length is 35 inches. So my frill will be 5 inches in length, and then the Ankara dress will be 30 inches long. So me using 30.5 inches is because I added an allowance of 0.5 inches for the roll hem. After this, I marked my shoulder, which is 14 inches, and I went ahead to divide it by 2 inches, giving me 7 inches. So from the folded side of my fabric, which is now going to be my center front, I marked my shoulder. I came down 5.5 inches for my neck depth, and then I also marked the shoulder width at that line also. I used 7 inches for my armhole, but I finally changed it, made it 8 inches because I noticed that it will be too tight if I leave it at that 7 inches. Now, because this is going to be a sleeveless dress, I removed 1 inch from the shoulder, making it 6 inches, so that the strap will not be sitting at the tip of my shoulder and falling off, but at the mid shoulder level. Then after this, I drew my armhole. Next on, I came down 4 inches from the shoulder to mark the length of my strap, and then I drew these points to link with the neck depth. Another extra step I took was to mark my bust level, which is 10.5. So bust level is basically your shoulder to bust point. And then I marked my bust measurement by adding 3 inches to my bust measurement. Now my bust measurement is 37. I added 3 inches to it, giving me 40. Then I went ahead to divide this 40 by 4. It gave me 10 inches, and then I added 1 inch for my seam allowance. That's how I came about 11 inches. So I've gone ahead to mark 11 inches on that's my bust level. After that, I just drew the line down to the hem. Now, depending on how wide you want your gown to be below, you can take the whole width of the fabric. It's fine. After this, I cut out the pattern from my fabric. And this is what it looks like when it's been opened. Now, to cut out the back piece, all you have to do is to simply trace out the front pattern and make sure to do it on the bias as well. After cutting out my back piece, I measured the hem as it is on fold, and then I multiplied it by 4. I multiplied it by 4 because this is 2-piece and they are both on fold, so which will give me the complete circumference of my hem when it is being opened up. So yeah, mine, when I measured it, it gave me 27. 27 multiplied by 4 will give you 108 inches. Now heading on to the gathers frills, because it's going to be sewn on the top of the dress, with an extra fabric above, we will need to add extra inches to accommodate this extra length as well. So you're considering the allowance, folding allowance, and also the extra length that is going to be on top of the frills. So instead of making it exactly 5 inches, which is going to be the final length of my frills, I'll be adding an extra 3 inches to the length, making it 8 inches. Then for the width, I multiplied the circumference of the dress hem, which is 108. I went ahead to multiply it by 4 inches. So this means that I am cutting a rectangle shaped fabric of 8 inches in length and 432 inches in width. Now at this point, you're allowed to join fabrics, obviously, because you won't have any fabric that will be as long as that. And besides, I'm using 1 yard of fabric, so of course I went ahead to join my piece together to give me that width of 432 inches. Next up, I sewed my bias on my neckline by sewing it first on the wrong side of the fabric. Then I went ahead to flip it to the right side and stitched it down. Now you want to go ahead and do the same thing for the back piece as well. After this, the next thing I did was to sew the bias binding along the armhole part from one of the pieces, either the front or the back, because they are basically the same thing. Then after when I got to the point where it met with the neckline, I measured out 8 inches before joining it to the next piece or the other piece. Now remember that we came down 4 inches for the sleeveless strap when we were cutting on the fabric. So adding up the 4 inches for the front and the back together, that is how I came about 8 inches. Now I went ahead to double my bias binding for this strap to reinforce the strap and make it stronger. Please note that you can use any fabric of your choice apart from the store-bought bias tape to create this. But when you're doing that, make sure to cut it on a bias grain so that you can comfortably sew round curved edges. Now I joined the two pieces together on the side. You can actually put a pocket at this point if you want. I went ahead to add my pocket. Now after joining, I went ahead to fold my hem using a tiny roll hem. Now for the frills, I also joined both sides with a roll hem. I folded both sides with the roll hem and then I gave it a very good press. In between this sewing project, I was ironing. So if you want to have a very beautiful outcome and a crisp finishing, please iron in between your seams and iron as you sew. This will make a very huge difference in your final result. After folding the both sides of this fabric I'm going to be using to gather, I started gathering it to sew on the hem of my dress. So I gathered it first because gathering it directly on the hem of my dress was going to prove difficult. So to have a seamless sewing, I went ahead and gathered it first, making sure to gather it at exactly 1 inch below from the top of the folded edge. So I gathered it 1 inch below, and after that I sewed it round the dress hem also on that 1 inch level. Now this is what the final dress looks like. I hope you enjoyed every bit of this tutorial. Like I said, it's very beginners friendly, easy to make, and it's a very great design for your project if you're just starting your dressmaking career. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please hit that red subscribe button below to join our wonderful sewing community. Turn on post notifications so that you get notified of new tutorials whenever I post new videos. Also like, comment, and share on this video as it will help us grow on the YouTube platform. Thank you so much for sticking with me up to the very end, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.